Canto 3, chapter number 30, text number 2. यम यमर्दम उपादत्ते यम यमर्थम उपादत्ते दुःखेन सुखहेतवे दुःखेन सुखहेतवे तम तम धनोति भगवान तम तम धनोति भगवान पुमान चोचति यत्कृते पुमान चोचति यत्कृते
यम यम अर्थमुपादत्ते दुःखेन सुखहेतवे तं तं धुनोति भगवान् पुमान् शोचति यत्कृते यम यम अर्थमुपादत्ते दुःखेन सुखहेतवे तं तं धुनोति भगवान् पुमान् शोचति यत्कृते
यम यम अर्थम उपादत्ते दुःखेन सुखहेतवे तं तं धुनोति भगवान् पुमान् शोचति यत्कृते
यम यम whatever artham object padate one acquires dukkhena with great difficulty sukhahetave for happiness tam tam that dunoti destroys bhagavan the supreme personality of godhead Puman, the person sochati laments yat krite for which reason translation whatever is produced by materialist with great pain and labor for so-called happiness, the Supreme Personality as the time factor destroys. And for this reason, the conditioned soul laments. Purport. The main function of the time factor, which is a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is to destroy everything. The materialists in material consciousness are engaged in producing so many things in the name of economic development. They think that by advancing and satisfying the material needs of man, they will be happy. But they forget that everything they have produced will be destroyed in due course of time. From history, we can see that there were many powerful empires on the surface of the globe that were constructed with great pain and great perseverance. But in due course of time, they have all been destroyed. Still, the foolish materialists cannot understand that they are simply wasting time and producing material necessities, which are destined to be vanquished in due course of time. This waste of energy is due to the ignorance of the mass of people who do not know that they are eternal and that they have an eternal engagement also. They do not know that this span of life in a particular type of body is but a flash in the eternal journey. I'm repeating again. They do not know that the span of life in a particular type of body is but a flash in the eternal journey. Not knowing this fact, they take the small flash of life to be everything. Not knowing this fact, they take the small flash of life to be everything, and they waste time in improving economic conditions. How many of you think this purport is a slap letter? Some people are not thinking that's it. Actually, the name of the topic is chapter is what is that? Adverse description of by Lord Kapila of the adverse fruitive activity. What is fruitive activity? Fruitive activity means that which causes us to take birth again. That is a fruitive activity. What is a fruitive activity? That which causes us to take birth again. That which pushes us in the cycle of birth and death is a fruitive activity. One more definition. Where there is no Krishna in that activity. I mean, where there is no Krishna means you are not doing for Krishna's pleasure, but you are doing it for your pleasure. May the physical, mental, intellectual, egoistic. How many of you understood this point? What is a fruitive activity? You are doing this activity for your either intellectual pleasure, mental pleasure, or sensual pleasure, or egoistic pleasure, but you are not doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. What it will do? It will cause you to take birth again. It has a reaction. It has a reaction, and that will push you into the cycle of birth and death. That is a fruitive activity. But what is the name of the topic? Adverse fruitive activity. Means that is even actually this chapter, honestly speaking, instead of speaking the class, if I just read the translation of all the verses, you will be shocked. The misguided materialist does not know, there is third verse, his very body is impermanent, and that the attraction of home, land, and wealth, which are in relationship to the body, are also temporary. Out of ignorance only, he thinks that everything is permanent. How many of you like this? Amazing, right? Then, listen. The living entity in whatever species of life he appears finds a particular type of satisfaction in that species, and is never averse to being situated in that in such a condition. Do you have a human body? You love it. Give it up. Death means people are scared. Frozen literally. Because whatever situation you are in, you don't want to live it. This verse says, you take birth in a cockroach as a cockroach, you love that body. You take birth as a crocodile, 50% of the body is mouth only. For you to eat, someone has to die with a scary death. Actually, someone has to die a scary death. But if you take that body, you love that species. You don't want to live. That's the illusion. The condition live. More than anything, pigs, they love to eat stool. And I'm just repeating what I heard. Of course, I saw that too. We all have seen from India. They love to eat stool actually. Nayan deho bajan loke kashtan kamana arhati vidbujam he. Vidbujam means pig. The way we love halwa, gulab jamun, laddus, pig loves stool. Same pleasure. So Shubhadev is telling, hey, whatever you are loving, pig is also loving. If pig is loving his food, you are loving your food. Pig loves to sleep next to drainage, nice comfortable place. He loves to sleep. Pig loves to enjoy sex life. We love to enjoy sex life. Pig different, we different. No, my children, tapodivyam, human life is meant for tapasya. Such satisfaction, sixth verse, with one standard of living is due to deep-rooted attraction for body, wife, home, children, animals, wealth, and friends. In such association, the conditioned soul thinks quite perfect. Thinks himself quite perfect. Though everyone is listening. Although he is always burning with anxiety, such a fool always performs all kinds of mischievous activities with a hope which is never to be fulfilled in order to maintain his so-called family and society. Bhagavatam is chastising. Hey, your desires will never be fulfilled. One day will die, that's it. He gives heart and senses to a woman who falsely charms him with Maya. He enjoys solitary embraces and talking with her, and he is enchanted by sweet words of small children. The attached householder remains in his family life, which is full of diplomacy and politics, always spreading miseries and controlled by the acts of sense gratification. He acts just to counteract the reactions of all his miseries. And if he can successfully counteract such miseries, he thinks that he is very happy. How many of you are listening? It's very heavy, right? He secures money by committing violence here and there, and although employs it in the service of his family, he himself eats only a little portion of the food thus purchased. And he goes to hell for those for whom he earned money. He earned the money in such an irregular way. Next verse. When he suffers reverses in his occupation, he tries again and again to improve himself. But when he is baffled in all attempts and is ruined, he accepts money from others because of the excessive greed. Thus, the unfortunate man, unsuccessful in maintaining his family members, is bereft of all beauty. He always thinks of his failure, grieving very deeply. Seeing him unable to support them, his wife and others do not treat him with the same respect as before. Even as the miserly farmers do not accord the same treatment to their old and worn out oxen. The foolish family man does not become averse to family life, although he is maintained by those whom he once maintained. Deformed by the influence of old age, he prepares himself to meet ultimate death. Thus, he remains at home just like a pet dog and eats whatever is so negligently given to him, afflicted with many illnesses such as dyspepsia and loss of appetite. Eats only very small amounts, small morsels of food, and he becomes an invalid who cannot work anymore. In the diseased condition, one's eyes bulge due to the pressure of air from within. His glands become congested with mucus. He has difficulty breathing, and upon exhaling and inhaling, he produces a sound like gurgur, a rattling within the throat. In this way, next verse, in this way, he comes under the clutches of death and lies down, surrounded by lamenting friends and relatives. Although he wants to speak with them, he no longer can because he is under the control of time. Thus, a man who engaged with the uncontrolled senses and maintaining a family dies in grief, seeing his relatives crying. He dies most pathetically in great pain and without consciousness. At death, he sees the messengers of Lord of Death come before him, their eyes full of wrath. In great fear, he passes stool and urine. As a criminal is arrested for punishment by the constables of the state, a person engaged in criminal sense of a person engaged in criminal sense gratification is similarly arrested by Yamadutas, who bind him by the neck with a strong rope and cover his subtle body so that he may undergo severe punishment. Then the next verse is how he goes through so much of suffering in the hellish regions. Please forgive me if I read anything wrong. But one lecture I heard, most of the people by a sannyas in ISKCON. Most of the people end up in hell, he said. How many of you, when I read it, felt this is in relation to me? Sorry, I forgot to raise my hand. So this chapter is actually, when yesterday I was thinking, I don't, sorry. Instead of speaking on the verse, let me read the translations, that's it. Recently, I had breathlessness. That time, all I want is little breath. You want some name and fame? What do you want? Breath. Such a discomfort. We take things for granted. If at all you want to realize you're a machine, not the body, just before you sleep, put earplugs and lie down. That's it. You'll hear the heart sound. It's like a rail engine actually. You'll hear the heart sound when you lie down. That's it. So when you hear it, naturally you feel it's a machine. Because we don't think we are a machine. I mean, we don't think we are living in the machine, are living with the machine. The body is like that. You know? So, so just give me 1 minute. Power of time. I have a question for all of you. Before I ask the question, we have come to this world for only one reason. We want to enjoy independence of Krishna. We are controllers. So to the extent, what is the real progress? Real progress is all about how much is our desire to control this world is going down. You know, how much is our desire to enjoy this world, especially the matter is going down. That decides our progress, not the rest of the things. Because most of the things we try to enjoy is mental or intellectual or egoistic or sensual. Kali Yuga means majority sensual. Or 50-50 mind and sensual. I have a question for all of you. In your office or in your even temple, every day when you come here, you are given whatever food you like, maybe sweet rice, big cake. But at the end of the cake, or sweet rice, or whatever, you need to eat. Like in a sweet rice is the best example. We will, after eating sweet rice, we'll give a cup of sweet rice mixed with fine sand. You have to eat that also. We have to eat sweet rice, but the end portion, at the end, that sweet rice is mixed with sand. Because the pot is big, you start eating here, but at the end, it will be sand. Every day you have to do it. Will you come next day to eat that sweet rice? It's very tasty. It's very tasty. But at the end, it has sand. You have to eat that also. Because prasad, right? Will you come next day or not? No. Thank you. Everyone is still. If you agree that, I mean, this is my realization. If you agree that, that's what we are all doing right now. I'll just give an example. It happened in my life. I came to America. I got a job in MetLife. I'm not so qualified, but somehow Krishna gave me, So I used to work with MetLife software. 2001 March, I opened a newspaper like this in the office. New York Times. I used to work upstate New York. Ronald Reagan fell in the bathroom and broke his hip. The former lady, First Lady Nancy Reagan, was requesting all the Americans, please pray for my husband. I read it. 1984, TV came to my city. And so we didn't have TV, so I went to my next door neighbor because Olympics starting that day. 5 o'clock in the morning. Huh? Olympics, International Olympics, starting in Los Angeles. So I went first time, it's a TV, first time, it's like, wow, everyone, so many people were there. And I saw Ronald Reagan on the TV actually, inaugurating 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. So when I read it, I said, hey, that's the Reagan, Then please listen carefully. This has changed my life. I felt, if I go to hospital and tell him, sir, you're a Hollywood star, means what? Every month you get 400K, and you're so famous all over the world. Third thing, you have the best sex life. What people want in this world? Best sense enjoyment and so much money. And third, it'll be famous. You have these three things, not one day. How many days? 3 to 4 decades. One thing was missing. What is that? Power. He got that also. 2 times California governor and 2 times American president. You cannot replicate a resume like that. It's very difficult to prepare a resume like that today, where you have 3 to 4 decades of stardom coupled with power. Sir, think of those good olden days and forget today's suffering. If I say like this, what you would think? Then from inside, I don't know, from here or here, maybe heart, answer came. Fool number one, how much I enjoyed yesterday, the previous years. It will not compensate today's suffering. It came like a flash. This line came. How much I enjoyed previous years or yesterday or the previous decades, it will not compensate my today's suffering. You can't understand. It's not Regan's voice, but voice inside. When this realization came, yesterday's happiness will not compensate today's suffering. Yesterday's happiness will not compensate today's suffering. It changed my life. I came to America to make money. I will not make billions like he did. Even if I make millions of dollars in the bank, hey, body is a machine. This computer, 6 years. This microphone, stand, every 2 years we change the stand. This harmonium, 10 years. This jacket, another 2 more years. Can you go and get me one cup in the where we offer the Lord the cups? And my cell phone, 6 years. Likewise, everything has a manufacturing date and end date. Means this body also has a manufacturing date and end date. One day, Kishore, why I want everyone to say, this is metal. Ladies and gentlemen, your body is not a metal. Kishore told me, one of the cups is leaking. So really? Yeah, we shouldn't put liquids, we can put other dry items. And this like a slap on my face. Hey, my intestines are not made of silver, This is pure silver. So I'm putting breakfast, lunch and dinner, breakfast, lunch and dinner, breakfast, lunch and dinner. And 6 years later, this is leaking. Why I don't think this will leak? I have to become serious now. This metal is leaking means this also will leak. So yesterday's happiness will not compensate today's suffering. Then I told myself, I also came to America to make money. How much more money is there in the bank? When my body is giving trouble, that money will not make me happy. Because he was born in 1912, he's going through suffering because it's a body. Means I'll go through the same thing after 30 years. Already I was standing 16 months already. Practicing bhakti for a couple of years then. No, there is a miscalculation in my, the thought process is wrong. My calculation is wrong. So after 30 years, I'll go through the same trouble. How much ever I have enjoyed, it will not give me happiness when I'm going through suffering. So I think then my thought process is wrong. But Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling for 18 verses, you are not the body, spirit, soul, you are not the body, you are spirit, soul, you are not the body, spirit, soul. So why don't I utilize my life to realize that? Everyone is listening, right? But I got used to the credit card already. So, you can once it's already 1 year plus. I got used to using credit card. And I want to lead a life, join full time or that, with no money, what will happen? You will be controlled, you will be a slave. But then there is no, either you get married and stay outside or you join full time. Then I thought, look, if I get married, I should not regret that I never tried that life. I mean, I want to tell you, I told my family in 99, I want to join full time. Big fight, your parents will become your worst enemies actually. Like this, suddenly they'll be like this, deadly enemies. So all right, don't worry. And then I got a job back in Singapore, I left. But now I came to America, I got a feeling nobody can catch me because they're away on the other side of the planet. But the fear started. Hey, with no money, you cannot live. Now that you got used to the car, credit card, all those things. But I said, look, I should not have a feeling I never tried that. But there is a strong pull. No, do it, do it. But again, fear. What will happen? I told myself I'll stay for. I mean, I'm fully decided to join full time. But at least if anything goes wrong, I can, I can come back anyway. So 1 month I'll try. I'll try only 1 month. 2 weeks in 2 weeks, I tried in Yurana and I realized that I should have come here long ago. It's delayed. So much time is wasted. I never looked back. In 2 weeks, I decided. I didn't wait for 1 month. So now I'm telling you, the only good thing I've done in my life, with all the lust and greed and envy, the one good thing I've done, I joined full time. This happened 21 years ago. That day I thought 30 years later I'll go through the same thing what Megan is facing. I'm only 9 years short. I'm not there yet. But yes, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot means a lot. Positively. In Bhakti. I'm very grateful for that. So my point to you, why I'm telling this is I forgot that verse, but Vayurava Ghanavali. Clouds don't know the power of wind. Likewise, a conditioned soul does not know the power of time. Because I joined full time, what I do, I study the lives. I never told this. I study the lives. Suddenly they'll become sickened. If you have a lot of good karma, you'll suffer only 1-2 months and then you die. Somebody has a lot of bad karma, they'll be bedridden for 1.5, 2 years. Wow. In same children, parents worked so hard to maintain them. I heard many times, why you don't die? Please die. Because I don't have so much leave. One day, one devotee called me and said, you want me to attend my funeral, my father's funeral at 12th day. If it's a materialist, I would have responded differently because as a devotee, right, I became angry with him. Hey, if only your father knew 30 years later, you will say like this. He would have invested instead of on you, he would have invested on Krishna. So giving up time for Krishna consciousness, he invested on you. This is what you're telling. But what can I tell? There's no leave. Don't say like that. Jobs will be there always. Your father, he brought you, I would take good care of him. Why I'm telling is, one should not regret, I should have invested on Krishna rather than investing on other things. So, Kali Yuga means what is Kali Yuga? What is good for us is removed. What is bad is legal and supported by government, supported by the family members, supported by the society. That is Kali Yuga. Whatever is very bad is legal. Deadly actually. And if you do that way, you're considered successful by relatives. See, nobody will talk about his brother or his sister, but they'll talk about your distant cousin. My cousin is in America. He calls me once in a year. Actually, he's very humble, you know. Why he's humble? Because he calls you. One day I went to Lawrence Tech. And in Krishna's arrangement, nobody, we didn't realize it was a holiday. There, a dean and the board member, they were standing there talking. Suddenly we entered, they shocked, they were shocked. You know, but thank God my dress, you know, it shows at least, you know, he is not a thief. Very interesting, they both are, one is Indian, one is a Middle Eastern. This Indian had a high position in Lawrence Tech, I didn't even realize. So what brought you here? I really don't know who that guy is, but old, so I thought maybe, you know, maybe a lecturer, I thought, a professor, I thought. Then he started telling immediately, old people always want somebody to hear them. Hey, because you worked so hard, you know, I'm the first one to do this achievement. My name is there. You know, he started telling, you know, so my name is there. I found out this. And this dean was actually literally looking at him as though he's a worshipful deity, you know. You know. And one day this person came, Lechwalesa, so humble. Why? Because you saw him. Because you introduced him. Otherwise, which president of a country is humble? You know? What is the vice president name? America, vice president. So humble. Because I know her mother. Yeah, because that's naturally right. You have to glorify them because you want others to know you're humble. Today, whatever hard work you do, it will satisfy, it will to fill the stomach, it will please your mind, it will please your senses. That's it. There is no Krishna there. As simple as that. Dharmaswana Siddhapam Sam Vishwaksena Kadasya Na Utpadayed Yati Ratim. Yugal Kishore got this relation after 25 years. I never got this first day here. Sremevahi Evalam. Your 9 to 5 job is fetching you money to satisfy your carnal pleasures or mental pleasures. But if it is not triggering affinity to listening the message of Vasudeva, Krishna, Sremevahi Kevalam. Recently it came as a flash in my mind. In other words, everyone is working Sremevahi Kevalam. I can tell only here. I cannot tell in the Bhaktaraksha because they'll stop coming. That's the power of a sense enjoyment. You know, Avadut Brahmana says, whatever sense enjoyment we go through, when I saw the reverse results, I stopped doing it. If you want to explain, you will not be liking to listen about it. Read 11th Canto Bhagavad. You know, soul is looking for happiness. Anandamaya Abhyasat. The soul is stuck in this body. And because of the ego, we think we are this body. When we think we are this body, we try to find happiness through senses. We try to find happiness through mind, through intellect. I am honest with you. If you're rich, there is a possibility you'll come to Krishna consciousness. But if you're intellectual, you're enjoying intellectually, it's very difficult to come to Krishna consciousness. Why? When you go to work, so-called Prabhu is coming, all the manners will look for you. It will give you that type of happiness. You'll not come to Krishna consciousness. I know a doctor, one of the 6 doctors in surgery in Michigan. No, he moved out. I tried my best. He never came to Krishna consciousness. But why it is not easy? He gives so much money to the temple. Then a patient comes limping. Surgery performs $40,000 in 2 hours. He takes. And the patient walks comfortably. What a satisfaction, job satisfaction you'll have. Thank you, sir, doctor. Very grateful. If this is your life, I am making people, I am causing them pick up good health. And on the top of it, you're getting $40,000 in 2 hours. Why do you need Krishna? You will not see what is happening to your dad, what has happened to your grandfather. Pasyati, apasyati. You see, but you don't see. Lord Chaitanya, one time he said, we are wasting our time in the night time. We should chant the holy name. Lord Chaitanya told everyone, let us not waste night time. We'll chant. All night they chanted for 1 year because of Lord Chaitanya's grace. Nobody had any fatigue. They chanted for 1 year with a raised consciousness. Otherwise, what happens? Indriya vriyate naktam baba ena vayatya chardahaya raja kutumba bharanenava. 2nd canto. Sukadeva Goswami is telling heavy verse. If the person, 50% of life is gone in sleep only. But the person who has uncontrolled senses I'm sorry, please forgive me. So his night is gone in sense enjoyment and sleep only. He finds happiness in taking care of the family, my children, my family. There is so much of anxiety. Still, there is some accomplishment in that. This came from my seed. Kutumba Maranena. And I read that's why all the verses. Kamala dala jala jeevana talamala taro e bhavasindhuri. Hey, you put a water on a lotus leaf, it'll drop. That is human life. When Brahma lives for 311 trillion, 40 billion years, what is compared to that 78 years? Why I'm telling you, why I told my life, my initial example is, I'm not there yet. I'm telling you with a regret. And I'm telling you, I should have joined full time 3 years ago before. I would have made more progress, but I didn't join because family didn't agree. I was also not ready. My desire to enjoy was so high. So my point to you, please, if you've seen your grandfather suffering, Yedana yavana putra parijana itiki ache paradetri. Vifala sevina krupana durjana. Said Haripada Nitri. I have served all these people, it's useless. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Vidyara Vilasa, I studied all this education I studied for 20-25 years. And at the time of death, I am trying to focus on Krishna, but whatever I studied in my childhood is coming and bothering me. That is Vidyara Vilasa verse. When you hear it, you feel Radha and Krishna dancing. No, that is not Radha and Krishna dancing. So what is that? Buliya tumhare samsar aisiya kayem nana vidabhyada. My Lord, I forgot you, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in this old age, getting ready to sit in the womb of the mother again. I wasted one life. I don't know whether I'll get human life or not. Manusha janama paya Radha Krishna bhajiya janya sunya vishakhaino. If you have not worshipped Radha and Krishna, you have not attained their grace, you're consciously and willfully, you have eaten poison. Means you're eating poison means committing suicide. That's what I want to say. Please forgive me if I've spoken anything wrong. This chapter is very, very powerful. So what do? Monday to Friday, make your home a temple. Weekends, make temple your home. Wife and husband come here and talk to everyone. I recently, I told this in my previous classes. Don't put faith on whatever you have. They are like, with one stroke, they are removed. Put faith on Krishna solely. I told my family, all the money you want to give, no problem. Don't worry, I can't spend. I can spend in 5 minutes. Give the money back. But Indians say they don't give. So no, it will be totally used for perfect Krishna conscious activity. Please give the money. But of course, my brother doesn't know I'm a fundraiser. I also took some money, good amount of money from him. So but they, they'll give only. Let me tell you, Indians want Krishna from Krishna 1,000 rupees, and out of 1,000 rupees, they'll give 20 rupees as donation Janmashtami, and they think they are pure devotees. Or 100 rupees, 1/10. I'm a pure devotee because I gave 100 rupees in Janmashtami, just percentage. If you give 10% of your savings to Krishna, you're a pure devotee. I said, look, no, Krishna, you are keeping 90%. You're giving it 10%. You're not doing anything great. Krishna is watching at 10%, 90%. So now I point to you, any question or comment? Yes.
So, thank you, Prabhu. So joining full time and joining, like being a Grosthasrama, what is the difference? What did you find out?
Joining full time and Grihastha ashram. First of all, I was never in a Grihastha, never a Grihastha. I mean, my nature is Grihastha, no doubt. I was worse than a Grihastha actually. So yeah. No, I don't want to say I'm a debauchee, like more or less like that. Family life is very distractive. My mother chants 40 rounds now. Wonderful devotee, actually. Still, and if you can create that environment, honestly speaking, there is no difference. If you can create that environment, no difference at all. But because you work with outside, and you deal with the outside world a lot, second thing is you don't get a lot of time to read, and then there are attachments. If you can spiritualize their attachments, then Grihastha is it's a big fort actually. Because all the ashrams come from Grihastha. Brahmacharis don't come from air. They have to come from the families only. So actually sincere Grihasthas of ISKCON, I've seen there's no difference. If you are Krishna conscious, both wife and husband should be Krishna conscious. Children should also. But end of the day, we have impurities in our heart. We know what those impurities are. We know our weaknesses. But because Grihasthas have to support the other 3 ashrams, Grihasthas have to be charitable, believe me, they'll make much more progress than anybody. What Srila Prabhupada has attained, no one has achieved. Srila Prabhupada is a Grihastha. It was definitely a culture shock. So many people of his contemporaries. Because Prabhupada would not even come for yatras, would not come to meet Saraswati Thakur. Only one time. That Sai Vishnu temple thing, Prabhupada listened his class. Busy businessman, sales rep, 6 children. But no one had any idea what. One time Gaurav said, Abhay Babu means pound. What is the opinion of Abhay Babu in Gaudiya? Pounds and shillings, man. Money. But nobody thought this. He was trying to make money to support the Guru Maharaj preaching. Nobody thought that. But then that prediction, he proved it. So if you can make your home Krishna conscious fully, like what you're doing, he is coming, he comes for Mangalarti every day. Amazing. You know. So Mataji also comes, huh? Prabhuji, we all struggle actually, let me tell you. You know. Actually, Grahastha life is a little more struggle than Brahmacharya. I mean, temple full time. I don't want to use the Brahmacharya full time life because we don't have deadlines. If only the residents understand what opulence they have it. We live with Krishna actually, Radha Gopi Jana Nitya Prabhupada. And we don't have deadlines. Anything we want, we'll get 4 items. You want a computer, you'll get 4 computers. But outside Grahastha, actually, one time I said, Grahasthas in America are very advanced. But reality is, you know your reality. You know? So because, you know, what is that, if you're not careful, I always tell this story. How many of you know silkworm? Silkworm makes a cocoon nest from the silk strings. Because it made the string, that's nest with the silk strings. The last string at the end of the string is still wet. So it mixes with the actual nest. Not knowing this fact, silkworm sleeps comfortably because you have a wonderful bed, silk bed. But unknown to the silkworm, the oxygen in that nest is coming to an end. Suddenly silkworm gets up because oxygen is gone. We have no idea how a person dies when that oxygen is not there. Or a silkworm looks for the thread, but it's not found. Hits the wall, that wall, this wall, this wall. Silkworm dies. That is family life when Krishna is not there. When Krishna is formally not there, let me tell you this. Because I mean, I can see everyone, you know, your devotees. Prabhuji, I was thinking, I had a breathlessness recently. It happened 2 3 times. It was very uncomfortable. And I don't want to leave this world. I mean, not the body, not the world, leave body. Such a discomfort. What I want? Money? No. Name and fame? No. Sense enjoyment? No. What do you want? Breath. This breath is happening continuously without your intervention. If you are conscious of your breath, you have a health issue. You have asthma. That's how it's working. You are not the body. First lesson of Gita. How many people in this world realize? That's why spirituality is not about how powerful you give classes, how powerful you sing, or do arati. How much did you make a tangible progress? Did you reach nishta, ruchi, asakti? Bhava means you'll come to know your spiritual. Still my try state. Does it answer your question? Yes.
Only question in regards to that. It's very flashy and nice to hear or spiritualize your relationships, right? Like your wife or kids, they belong to Krishna and they are there. It's easy to speak and hear. But tangibly, Prabhuji, how do we, even as devotees, practicing devotees, how do we know we are making progress towards realizing that or living on that platform of what you said now, Prabhuji? Because if we are caught up in some emotions or situations that happen and those attachments and fear, so many little things that happen, we still know that that attachment is there. We are not doing it as a duty and in the way where we can see everything with Krishna is there.
If you cannot, even if you cannot, Krishna is respect. So I'll tell you, upstairs, only females are not there. I mean, Matis are not there. We are four or five people. Either you will be humble in the temple or you will be humble at home. Because you interact with other person with your impurities, other person interacts with you, their impurities. When I see other people, when I started, other brahmacharis, they're advanced. I started changing actually. I respect them. And there's a gap of 25 years. I'm never married, but if you have a child, your child will be of this age. You know? I'll tell you something happened, then I started really changing actually. Some of you can see me, I'm like, sometimes I become heavy, especially on the altar, anything goes wrong here. Personally, not like. Then one day, we were talking, one devotee, no names. We were talking, but we didn't see what his son was doing. I told this before also. The son was actually breaking something. Suddenly he turned and said, he saw his son doing, hey, it was actually a temple asset. This Prabhu was upset and he said in English, what a useless guy you are. Useless guy. That boy was only 3-year-old. This boy went underneath the chair. He cried until he left the place. Why? How can you belittle me before Yugal Kishore? Serious? I'm honest. But how can you do that? You have removed my reputation, huh?
3 years.
3-year-old. I changed first time. He doesn't want to show his face. He doesn't want to show his face to me. How can I show my face to you when my father has tarnished my reputation? You're a 3-year child has this much of self-esteem. All these brahmacharis are worshipable. I have to crack a coconut and bathe their feet. That day onwards I changed. This is my behavior is wrong. So coming back to your answer, bro, you're right. Actually, it is flashy. It's not easy, coach. Behavioral change. Prabhuji, today you want to, from tomorrow, you want to get up at 3 o'clock and come to Mangalarti? You have to put alarm 10 years. You don't wake up, come fully confident after 6 months, don't put the alarm. You cannot wake up. It is very difficult to change. It's impossible to change. Sanair Uparatam, that sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. You all agree, those who have been chanting 16 rounds for this month. How many of you think, you have made such a tangible progress? My lust is cured, my envy is cured. Cured? No. So, this much. Sometimes I think, this Tulasi Maharani did tapasya for 40,000 years. Dhara and Drona did tapasya for 10,000 years. Not that they chanted only 4 hours and the rest of the life, rest of the day enjoyed. No. They lived in the forest eating only leaves for how many years? For Tulsi, it's 40,000 years. For Dhara and Drona, expansions of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, how many years? 1,000 years eating only dry leaves. And we want to know Ekadasi pizza, Ekadasi pasta, and everything. But of course, Lord Chaitanya's grace, still it's possible. He'll take us back to God. That's a different thing. But if you want to attain that consciousness, sometimes you think, one devotee said, why have not chanted for, why Krishna has not appeared? I have been chanting for 30 years. That's why he's not appearing, because you cannot tell. Beggar cannot be choosy. How many of you, say, okay, 3 years I'll chant, then Nishta. Another 3 more years, Ruchi. Another 3 more years, Asakti. Can anyone say like that? It is all in his hands. I'm honest with you, I'm worried actually because I'm aging out. People respect. What people respect and irrespect is not what I am. No. But I'm grateful, but I know all these things. Amazing. I did not even know that before. So Prabhuji, what you to answer is respect. With Krishna in the center. Genuine respect. And you'll be tested. For sure you'll be tested. Start respecting, you'll be tested. Okay, you go two steps down in respect. That person will test you for the third step. You have a choice. You want to go third step or go upstairs and fight. Fight next 2 days, you're chanting will be ruined.
Yeah.
That is how Krishna trains you. Lakshmi asks Narayan, my Lord, why you created this? What type of world you created? In an atom, there is a proton positive charge. But in the same atom, there is an electron negative charge. When our proton says, we'll go to Mangalarti, electron says, we'll go to movie. In between, there is a pure devotee neutron. This is happening not in your home, in an atom. In an atom. Vishnu laughs and says, I have created this so that they'll be frustrated and they'll come back. So exactly a person who do not like certain of your qualities will come to you. It is not only to you, to every one of us. And see the beauty. They will deal with the rest of the world very nicely. But when it comes to you, wow, beauty. Why? So do you think why my life is like this? If nobody is there, then Maya attacks your health. You don't have a Atibautika misery, then Adhyatmic misery will come. Honestly speaking, sometimes I think family life is a little easier. Because brahmacharis, they are from different walks of life, very independent. You don't need to develop that relationship. But in a family life, especially Indian family life, there is a strong attachment. If only you learn to Krishnaize a little bit, it's easier, I thought. I don't know whether I'm right or not. We should do that. You're doing it nicely. The children, first of all, samskaras, then bring them to the temple. Actually, there's one thing I liked it. Weekend, many, actually, I'll tell you, I'm sorry to tell this, I've seen congregations where parents want their children to be successful in the career. This bhakti is like what do you call it, the curry leaves in the upma. They want this bhakti to support their career. They don't want children to be Krishna conscious. That's a cruelty. I've seen so many congregations. So this bhakti should support their career so that they should not have any bad habits and they should become very successful. Within brackets, even if they go to hell, I have no problem. There's a cruelty on part of parents. That's why Pitana Sishya, that verse is there, right? Samapetya Mrityam. You should not become a father, you should not become a mother, you should not become a wife or husband. How many people are doing that? Bhagavatam class, real stride starts Monday, not Sunday, not Saturday evening. Am I applying it or not? Let me apply it. Prabhuji, ISKCON is today outside. Our 4 people, you have no idea what happens upstairs actually. What time they get up, how sincerely they do sadhana. Some people have, even if we cannot influence. When Dasigo comes, people are influenced. Wow, our Mataji comes. But you are coming in Mangaladi, you are not a pure devotee again. If there are other things are there. Our transition, our change is very slow. First thing is you should have a strong desire to change. End of the day, at the time of old age, nobody cares. Our mental nature doesn't care whether you're in America or in India. Suffering is, maybe our case more actually. So you develop respect. You consciously make children in the whole create an environment of Krishna consciousness. There is a doctor in Philadelphia. Swami Krishna's brother, Mahajan, Kaivalya Prabhu. Very humble. He must be 10, 20 years older than me. So humble. Wherever you see Krishna only. For the boy, for Indians, is a culture shock. Because the boy doesn't know anything but Krishna. And the Mataji, she bathes there. If you go and see the puja room, Prabhu, it's not a puja room, Prabhu. It's actually a Philadelphia Extension Temple only. She bathes the deities every day. Every day she bathes the deities. And because of the doll children, wow. Some became doctors, the boy did his masters, initiated Bhakti Rasamrita disciple, So I'm impressed. To bring up a child, it takes a village, but parents contribute 50% straight. The child's spirituality is directly 50% contributed by parents. That's what I can tell. Anyone wants anything? Otherwise, any other question or comment? Yes.
Just I think you mentioned one of those things is the weaknesses. We know our weaknesses internally and what we are. How do we overcome those things?
In a family setting, work setting, or temple setting?
Overall, anything.
No,
Family setting.
Prabhu, actually, family, you have to act one way. Office, you have to, there is a different answer. The temple, another answer. 3 different answers. That's why if it is family setting at home, in family, I also lived in a family until I joined full time, right? That very long time. Other person in actually intelligent family, they ignore your weaknesses. I don't know wife and husband because I never dealt with that area. So, but but of course, I also counseled a lot. Now it is little less. In first 6 months, the spouse will come to another person very well group. Which button you press, which raga will come, they know. For sure. In 1 year, they'll figure it out. If you are very spiritual that time, the first impression of 1 year, you cannot change that. One girl, I told the family, I want to talk to her. The girl didn't tell the stage, she said no. She didn't talk to me. What is the result? Suffering. Parents became Krishna conscious after she left to the college. And her opinion on father remained the same. I told I can even travel and talk to her. She said no. My father is like this, means the temple is also like that. Hey, he changed a lot. You don't understand. No, I don't want to hear. So karma also plays. So anyway, first year, other person will frame opinions. But you can change that at any time, let me tell you. If wife and husband are Krishna conscious, 90% of problems are solved. Chandramani statement, I agree with that. If one of the two, only one person is Krishna conscious, other is not, then you have a lot of baggage actually. You have to go through a lot of suffering. So now let us see, both wife and husband are devotees. Prabhuji, the answer is this. Respect avoids familiarity. One should have high respect. Then only you'll avoid familiarity. Unless you're a pure devotee, you cannot avoid familiarity. One Prabhu told me, I said, why did you teach this to Mataji? Prabhu, I can teach the whole world, but she will not learn from me. Familiarity. Who is the loser? Mataji. That's why one has to declare war on his mind or her mind. If you don't, Prabhuji, Kali Yuga, if you quarrel with a neighbor, you will not open the door or you will not open the window. I will put the problem in the head. Everyone will respect you, not that spouse. That's why there should be. Instead of expecting the other person to react to you, you give that respect. Just to set an example. You set an example. They have to change or they have to leave. Because family, they cannot leave. But they like, this guy changed. I've seen this also. Again and again and again. This guy changed. He's a changed person. He totally changed. That person will slowly change. I've seen this. It will take time. But during that time, you should not lose your patience. If you become angry, it will again zero. You can elements will come back to square one. So they gave you left and right. Until they realize you changed, which is very difficult, of course. Your weaknesses should not cover your strengths. Your weaknesses, SWOT analysis, strength, opposite, So the weakness should not eclipse the opportunities, especially when you deal with other. Actually, Stephen Covey very nicely writes a materialist. He mentions in that book actually, So he told his son an assignment. You will maintain our backyard. You will do everything right? Yes. You will clean everything right? Yes. How much money you want? Yes. And Stephen Covey said, I am your assistant, my son. You are the in charge for this backyard. So, okay, timeline, 2 weeks, son. Everything should be all right. They're full total American. So Stephen Covey is watching. First day, second day, third day, 1 week over, 2 weeks. Tomorrow is the last day. Stephen Covey is a strict professor. And every day he comes, he would see son going on the cycle left and right, but no idea. So one day said, so 2 weeks over. Next day, my son, I want to see how you have done. Means you are no longer resistant. He said this sentence and he said, I failed. Because the moment I want to inspect the backyard, means what you did, you removed yourself as an assistant and you came in the position of a father. Hey, I will control. You have to be children, you have to be very careful. They don't speak, but they know everything. The backyard. Son, what is this? Papers are lying there. Yes. And he started crying. So he says, past 2 weeks I am watching. You are just doing cycling, but you're not doing anything. So then he says, no, give them a little more space. No problem, my son. Then he understood his mistake. I give you 2 more weeks. I'm still your assistant. So he undid what he said. I'll assist you. But now instead of 2 weeks, we'll meet every 2-3 days. Every 2 days, son, you need any help? So then suddenly father put him on the pedestal, like you're the in charge for this. Dad, can we come and pick up this trash? Oh, why not? We'll pick up. He did this only first 2 weeks, first time. 2 weeks later, inspection, 100% pass. For the next rest of the summer, he did very well. Probably he's working for Americans. So one thing is respect. I'm sorry, I did not waste your time. Respect. And our weaknesses, we should not. I'm talking to myself. Because Ramachar is 1,000 times better than everyone. And I give them their space. Still, it's not easy. But I take it as purification and go forward and appreciate. Respect, appreciate, and support. It's easy to do it in the family level. That's what I get. We'll end it here. I'm sorry, a little late. Thank you very much. Thank you. Anandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Shri Prabhupada. I'm sorry it's late, so I'll